Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. In every podcast in the show, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept for this podcast, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. The book is available on my website and on Amazon. I work with clients in person in the Berkeley, California area and via email and Skype, so you don't have to be local to me. Visit the Hire tab on my website or email me at claire@cluttercoach.net. If you like the show, please rate it and review it. To do that, go to my website, cluttercoach.net, and scroll down for the show notes. Each show notes post has a link to leave a review in iTunes. I would so appreciate that. Okay, on to the podcast. This is podcast 81, and it's how you can be productive even if you're sick or tired or just feeling those low-energy winter blues. In podcast 70, I talked about categorizing your tasks by context, the way David Allen suggests. That's what this is. You need a category of stuff to do when you're just not up for doing any of that hard stuff. If you're really sick, you should rest. Be unproductive while you get better, then get back into the swing of things, instead of working at quarter speed for a week and feeling like crap. The things I'm suggesting are for when you're in that in-between stage. Not sick enough to stay in bed, but definitely not 100%. It's for when you really want to get something done, but you're just staring into space. This is an ideal time to do things that are boring or tedious, but are worth doing because of the time and effort they save later on. Some of these tasks are known as administrivia, a word that I was surprised to learn was first used in 1937. Being bored by paperwork is not a new phenomenon. Some examples of administrivia are reports that you can get away with just skimming to get the content of them. Nothing that requires deep reading. Expense reports or any kind of form or report that requires you to gather information you have and compile it. Just filling in the little blanks and sending it off. Nice and mindless. You could also do some filing. Get that pile off your desk and into the file drawer. Note, this only works if you really have a good filing system set up, meaning one that isn't overstuffed and that you can find things quickly in. Don't just shove something into a folder and stick it into a drawer somewhere, however tempting that may be. Bonus activity. If you file regular publications that get updated monthly or yearly, make sure to recycle the old one when you put the new one in. How about doing some scanning? That's one of the most mindless tasks I can think of. You can do it even while you're watching videos on YouTube. Again, it works best with a good filing system. Having a disk full of files with names like scan 121517_02 is kind of the same thing as having a drawer full of folders labeled miscellaneous. You don't have to give each scan a proper name, but you do have to put it into a folder named receipts or expenses or something meaningful like that. Gather up all your to-do lists and scraps of paper with important notes written on them. Make one fresh, current list. You don't have to do anything on the list. You just make sure it's complete and accurate and it's all in one spot. I think it's always a good idea to rewrite your lists. Refer back to podcast 28 for more tips on how to make your lists effective. If you don't have the energy or focus for that task, you can simply do the collecting part. Collect all that loose paper that needs attention at some point. Divide it up into categories like to-do list and file. And there are other ways to do this. You can label them according to the project they belong to, for example. You could have a collection of items you need more information about in order to take action. Maybe you have to ask someone a question or look something up. Things to read is usually a big category. Try the idea I mentioned above first. A lot of that what comes into your life to read is just not critical information. It's information that you can skim over and get the gist of it and then let go of it. Remember that there will always be more information in the world that you can digest or even know about. Also remember that regular publications have to fill up pages every month, every week, every day. If nothing important happens on a given day, they're not going to make the paper shorter, right? Here's another task to try, one that you'll really benefit from later on. Weed out all those unwanted photos on your phone. the ones that are out of focus, or your finger's in the way, or they just didn't turn out right, or they're near duplicates or even triplicates. Out they go. At least do that part. If you're up for more, make sure your photos are uploaded into the cloud or onto your computer. I've heard so many stories of people who lose their phones and then also lose years' worth of photos. It's so sad. Backing up is one of those annoying tasks that people put off, and it can be confusing too, unfortunately. But you'll be grateful for it later. Plus, you'll have room to take new photos on your phone. And if you really want to do it right, go another step and organize those photos. Big categories are better than no categories. Start with easy ones like travel, family, friends. Or you can get more specific, like Hawaii 2016. If your photos are precious to you, make them easy to find so you can enjoy them and share them. Here's what you can do right now. Make a list of tasks that seem suitable to you for doing when you're sick or tired. It's a good idea to have a list written out instead of in your head. When you're not feeling well, you're probably not thinking clearly, so you won't remember these things. Having a list to go to will help you avoid staring into space and wondering how you could be spending your time better. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're a fan of the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You can find my page by going to the Patreon website, that's Patreon, and searching on Clutter Coach. I'll still post the podcast free of charge, but I've got some cool rewards for folks who want to help me make the show even better. Come back next week for a new podcast.